How y'all doing this evening? No, no, Buenos tardes. Good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Big Dam. It's your boy Bobby Hill. Sorry I couldn't get to y'all yesterday. Things were had things going on. So like I said, but I still still ever trying to do my thing. Still being committed. But that's what I chose to do. You know, when I like I do when I always start, give a shout out to my lovely wife, Sandra Hill. She's at work right now, doing her thing. I always give her love because she's my backbone. She's the one that inspired me to do this. So I always show love at every podcast, and I'm always going to explain it every one. Went and cooked something, cooked a little burger with avocados, onions, some mustard cheese on it, and gave it to her and cooked it to her. Cooked it, wrapped it up in some aluminum and took it to her up at work a little while ago before I came up here. So like I said, looking out for each other. She look out for me, I look out for her. And that's what it's all about, man. Looking out for each other. It ain't no there's not a damn Rub- It's not trying. It's not like trying to solve the Rubik's cube or nothing. There's no great mystery or something like that, man. Just look out for each other. Have each other's back. There's gonna be good times. There's gonna be bad times. You get through that. You get through them storms. There are gonna be storms. There always. Someone tell you they're not. They're lying. There's always gonna be storms. It's how strong you are on the inside. How much you are willing to put up with, or what you're willing to go through and stuff. So some people are willing to go through more than others, especially depends on who the person they're with. Well, if the person is worth going through all this, or you cut your losses. So hopefully we with y'all able to, get through whatever storm you go through. Because after the storm, there's calm waters after the storm. So, you know, because things bad don't mean they're gonna stay bad. Things never things never stay the same. They're either getting better or getting worse. They never stay the same. Always remember that. Like I said, one thing me and my wife we do together, we do I do a lot of gardening now. At I guess I always had it in me because all the elder ladies in my life, they always they did some form of fashion. I used to watch them and help them. They used to plant you know food, plant flowers, plant grass, plant whatever. So it's something that I learned growing up. It's kind of and I learned it without thinking about it. It was sort of subconscious. I was just going to spend time with grandma, spend time with my aunt, spend time with mom, whatever. I'd be out here helping and stuff. And, just by wanting to spend time with them, I picked up a trade, a craft that could, help me out right now because me and my wife, we trying to move towards, growing, being able to grow our food and stuff. Not everything, I'm saying, but be able to grow certain things that we eat, save money, get healthier. And I can attribute that to in being learning how to know learn about horticulture, as you call it, learning how to plant things, learning how to take care of take sorry, learn how to distract for a second. I'm sorry. Learn how to take care of plants as far as identifying clipping dead ends and keeping the soil moist and not too moist where you drown them and make sure they get the right amount of sunlight because one thing I did learn in biology is about osmosis. Three things that plants need: they need air, they need water, and they need sunlight. And all of that attributes to the process of osmosis and how the green is green. That's how it is. So, um, but yeah, I like that's one thing I picked up growing, and I never really used it, never really had to use it, but you know, I'm starting, like I said, I'm starting at the in my 50s, starting to try to do things because I can't physically do things that I can't go out there and play a full game of basketball or do a lot of things I could do physically when I was younger. But what I can do is I can I can sit up there and use my mind, learn how to learn how to do things that don't require me out here running, out here playing, out here doing a lot of physical activity. So yes, I'm gonna get back into I'm trying to get back into art. I used to draw real good when I was younger, trying to get back into that. See where it goes. I mean, it's not doing it not necessarily to try to see where it goes. We're not trying to take it anywhere, just to see where it goes in my mind. See if I can get you know capture that same magic or that same hunger or that same inspiration that I had when I was a young kid doing it. Do I still got? I know I still got it because I've over my life bits and time for time go out here and draw stuff. I know I've done it off with an ink pen or anything, so I know I still got it. But it's just taking the time out to sit down and actually start doing it again. So that's what I intend on doing. Do things to keep my mind busy. Challenge myself. You can always challenge yourself. Always challenge yourself. Always keep your mind working. And the mind is like a muscle, just like anything else. You know how a muscle gets strong, you got to keep on working it out. Same thing as your brain. Keep on working it out, man. You got to do things that you got to keep doing things. Keep trying to remember stuff, man. Keep trying. Don't just depend on technology, everything to tell you what to do, or sometimes just if you lose. To me, here, what certain thing I do, like if I lose something and I try to just look for it, try to learn, and try to go into my mind, think about where I'm going before I ask, like where is it at? Or somebody might know where it is and get it from. I try to my best to see can I find it. Try to see can I remember stuff. So that tap into my memory, make sure I keep my memory as long as possible. Learning how to do instead instead of asking someone always how to do stuff, looking it up and reading it and feeding that information into your mind. Not just by somebody telling you, you reading it. You reading it make you more likely to remember it more if you read it more than anything else. So, you know, we try to do things to, keep my mind sharp and everything because, we at the stage in our life that, things might start. Like I said, that check engine light is already on. So, we just, hoping that hoping that battery light ain't coming on. Hoping that ABS light ain't coming on. So yeah. So just trying to keep things sharp. Some things happen even when you do all this. Sometimes things just happen. But you can do your best to try to keep keep your mind sharp, keep yourself, focused. You know, like I said, try to stay healthy as much as possible. Try to not overindulge and stuff, man. Stop. You don't have to eat. You don't have to eat as big as eat in bigger as big as portions as you do. Cut down your portions. Watch what you intake. Stop eat. Stop taking in all these chemicals. You know, there's some food. I mean, stuff is good. Everything out here is bad for you. Just keep. I'm gonna keep it 100. Keep it in a buck. Everything out here bad for you. Even just what I'm drinking out here, right here, bad for you. But you got to learn how to, be keeping in perspective. Learn how not to overindulge. For those who don't want to cut it out completely, you got to learn how not to overindulge, man. Stop eating all this stuff that gets you sick. Get you sluggish, get you lazy. You don't want that stuff to sit on your stomach forever. Tear up your liver, mess with your kidneys. Just you got to educate yourself about what you put in your body. So, because you want to be around here for a long time, and you want to live a good quality life. So you have to. Excuse me if I can talk. If any young people out here to hear this, watch. Start at a young age, man. Just be mindful of the sugar that you take and put in your body all the time. The unhealthy carbs, the fats and stuff. Just be mindful of that stuff. 'Cause that while it may not bother you now in your teens, in your 20s, everything might see, okay, oh, I got a high metabolism and all that. So that might be the case, but that metabolism will slow down. If you still got that same habit, it will show. So just be mindful of that stuff. Be mindful of how you take care of your body. Start at a young age, and you look at it this way. You want to decrease the percentage of your income, your wealth, or whatever. If you want to decrease the percentage of it that goes towards your health care, start when you're young. You get healthy habits. You get healthy habits and stuff, and barring like an accident or something like that, your trip you won't find yourself taking that many trips to the hospital and the doctor in your lifetime. But you got to get healthy habits at a young age. That's where healthy habits. That's where healthcare starts. You know, you're sitting here, feeding on sugar and fats and grease and everything your whole life, and then you try to, after about 40 years, 50 years, you try to turn it around. Things done built up. Damage been done. If you try to get educated at an early age, and you're never too young to think about what you put in your body. So think about it. Like I said, keep it in perspective though. You can. It's okay. Like I said, okay to have a burger. It's okay to have a burger. It's okay to have some pizza. It's okay for all that. You know what I'm saying? Keep it in perspective. Limit that stuff. You know, don't be sitting up here every other day getting a medium, a large pizza, or something like that, or getting all this greasy stuff, all this fatness stuff, all this and they complain when you having health problems in your late 20s and 30s and stuff like that, man. All that stuff is relevant. You got to learn how to take care of yourself, take care of your body, take care of yourself, get a healthy lifestyle. All that stuff is relevant. All this stuff is relevant. You know, you know. Oh, true it is. I always tell, and I tell people time, say, first you get healthy, man. You look good. I say, if you look good, you're gonna feel good, and if you feel good, you're gonna do good most of the time. So just like I said, take this. You get in the habit of just taking care of yourself. know, so that's one way you could, you know, help your community by being around, being healthy, teaching our youth to be healthy. That's how you grow, or that's how you, as a civilization, as a community, that's how you stay around by teaching people healthy habits, teach them how to, live a healthy life. Don't be irresponsible and stuff. So that's all I'm trying to, I mean, today, I mean, that's all I'm trying to tell people, like, just, change. It's okay. It's never too late. Even though we say do it at an early age, none of us is perfect. All of us are, growing up and things and all this stuff that we were introduced to and stuff like that, we overindulged. All of us did. So, some of us more than others. So it's, like I said, it's never too late to turn it around. Even if you got problems, never too late to turn it around. You know, so that's why I'm not sitting up here saying I'm doing like, and I'm sitting up here living perfect or nothing like that. No, as far as what eating and living healthy and stuff, is a struggle every day. I fight with it every day, trying to you know stay. I'm cognizant of what I put in my body. Sometimes I do, say, "Oh, let me have this," knowing that it might not be good for me, but I might have it every now and then. I do. I mean, yeah, So it's not perfection. You know, as Robert McCall said, eloquent. I can't even talk, Lord. Eloquently, eloquently on on the first equalizer is progress, not perfection. So yes, this, like I said, as long as you get yourself in a good mind state and take, like I said, take care of yourself. Just be mindful of what you put in your body. Just be mindful. Be mindful of that stuff. Don't have to go for all the sweets and stuff. I know there's a lot of things out here. There's one thing that's wrong with this damn country right here. That's why we got an obesity epidemic. One of the only countries out here is in the world with an obesity epidemic. And the reason why is because we got so much food over here. We are spoiled with food. You know, like Chris Rock said, we're the only country where people go hunting on a full stomach. Other countries, people go hunting because that's how they eating that night. In this country, people go hunting because they need a trophy case on the wall. There's a difference. There's a real big difference. That's we take things differently. We look at food differently. We look at all that stuff differently. We, and as us as people, man, we need to rethink stuff and stop overindulging in stuff. Stop. We don't need all that. We don't need. There's a place in damn. It's a contest and everything, and ain't knocking people, whatever. There's a place up here on I-40 in Texas Panhandle on Amarillo. You know, contest, eating a 72-ounce steak and stuff like that, man. We don't need to, we just, we just promote eating all the time and eating and drinking and eating and drinking, eating food and drinking beer and stuff like that, man. We just, promote all that stuff. And we just promote such a unhealthy lifestyle sometimes, and we just, and then at later on, after you done overindulged in all that stuff and all the wings and beer and burgers and pizza and all that stuff, you look at a commercial, you have a problem, they got a pill for you on the damn commercial with about 200 damn side effects. They got a pill that can fix that one thing, but you might have 200 side effects. So it's all your life they trying to get that money from you. They trying to tell you, live the way you want to live, but when you get messed up, take this pill we got for you. It'll keep you okay, but you get messed up some more. They tell you what it is, but they speak about them 300 words in about 10 seconds, so you can't understand really what they're saying. So, but legally they say, yeah, we said what the side effects is, but you couldn't understand what they were saying. So, you know, like I said, it's all this trying to get your money, man. All this system trying to do is get your money, man. You got to, let's say, you got to be smart. You got to just, think about think about what's best for you. Think about what's best for you, your family, your significant other, your children and stuff, man. And just stop, worrying about everything else that you see online and all this bad stuff and whatever. Do what's best for you. But I'm just saying, just think about being healthy. Being healthy, being around. That's what one like I said, born an accident, born some tragic accident, something like that. The best way to be around, be around for a long time, is adopt a healthy lifestyle, a somewhat healthy lifestyle. Like I said, in the progress, not perfection. Don't sit up here and kill yourself. Don't sit up here and just, try to starve yourself of things that can help you also, because there's a place for all the other stuff. There's a place for, the other carbs and a little bit of sugar and stuff. You don't have to cut it completely out 100%, but, just be mindful of what you put in your body, just keep your perspective and put it, that stuff is, you can't overindulge in that. So keep that to, a few times a month, and go accordingly and have discipline. You gotta have discipline. That's one thing you got to. When you start something, you got to stick by it. And there will be days when your body is gonna be telling you like, don't do it. They'll be like, look, I give up. I'm tired of stuff, man. You got to stick it. You got to hang in there, man. You got to hang in there. You got to. So when you get to that, you get past that. It's almost like, a while ago, I used to, when I run, I haven't ran in a while, like really, really run. I do it now, but it's just not, I can't, I'm not young like I used to. So I used to run. The thing is about running is like they always say it's true. It's always like the first mile will always be the hardest mile. Like you feel like you're struggling to get through it, but you fight through it. But once you get through that first mile, it feel like okay. You feel like you get your second win, and you feel like I'm good. And that's what you got to be, man. You got to buckle down, and you got to have focus, man. You get that second win, thing get hard. You get that second win, man. Then you can, things come easy to you. Then things come easy to you. I'll tell you one thing, man, it's hot out here today. It's like, for the past few days, dang, it's been like over 100. I think it was 103 today or something. No, yeah, I know yesterday was 105. I looked down. I think it was 100 something today, too. You know, like my man said, shout out to my man Tick. Shout out to my man Tick, old friend Tick. Said, well, hotter than two rats humping in a wool sock. Shout out to my man Ted. Shout out to my man Vashawn Murphy. Shout out to his brother, Jeff Murphy, the realist. Shout out to what's his name? Shout out to Rock Deals. Rock Deals the champ. Shout out to his brother, Bobby Williams. Shout out to all the boys out there in Jordan. Shout out to, Ty Williams. Shout out to Kawan Smith. Shout out to all the Rodney Mack. Shout out to shout out to Ben. I forgot your last name, man. Don't. I'm sorry. They come to me. And your brothers in my class. I forgot. Whatever. I forgot. I'll remember one day. You know. Just give a couple shout outs out here, man. But I think about it, to my peeps. Like I said, if I miss you, throughout different shows, I give shout outs to people, man. People that, I've been, cool with, throughout my life, one time or another, so, just showing love, I always show love, It's a lot to the people that, we hung out with, we broke bread together, we, chilled, had fun, Had some, argued, had tough times, just, part of life, part of friendship, part of the circle of life. So, yeah, so shout out to, I remember we used to be, that's why we used to play spades a lot. This is like graduate from high school, we used to play spades a lot, and he was my partner. And man, we used to talk, oh my God, we used to talk so much junk, man. People used to be mad at us and hate us, man. We used to talk so much junk. Used to be at the community college out here playing spades, and that's what I learned. This is where we learned techniques, how to skate books, and how to skate that queen. You got an ace and a queen. You know, figure out which partner got and what's out there, how to skate that queen. Make that queen and ace be two books. So, you learn how to, signal to your partner where not even by looking at them, just by the cards you play, how to tell them that, this my only suit right here. I only got, two of this suit or one of this suit, come back so I can cut that. Stuff like that. You learn how to do that playing spades. That's romantic, man. We learn how to, play off each other and stuff. So yeah, and my man, rest in peace, my brother, Chill Will. He was a good space partner too. We was at that Wake Forest playing. That's why, and man, it was from Randolph Childress and Tim Duncan. He didn't play spades. He played Mortal Kombat. But yeah, that's when we out there and played with those boys and had a little bit of fun. Chill. Will man Chill Will. It was very very animated. So it was very fun playing. Very fun, especially when we were winning. Shit, even when we were losing, it was fun. But yeah, shout out to him, man, and shout out to his son Chance, little ball out here, man. He coming up, the little man putting up numbers. He's like his old man. Like he's gonna be better than his old man. He putting up numbers. He got a wet jumper. He got real command of the game. And I like what I see out of him, man. He has his parents are grounded. His father's real grounded. And I know he's gonna have the best support. Yeah, that went to Salem already know, the, people, players that used to play out there at Wake Forest. His father cool with some of the former players, so he had that little foundation. So yeah, man, little man, excuse me, young man got the opportunity, man. And I wish the best for him. Wish the best for him, my man Aunt, you know, his old lady, their family, his daughter, like I said, he got a bright future ahead of him, and I wish him the best. You know, I always, always root for the, always root for the youth. Always root for the youth to do their thing. You know, but yeah, but it's oh my God, I was tell you, it's hot down here, man. But it ain't that humid. It ain't real humid. It was the other day, but it's not real humid. Sometimes it's be hot. And I sweat real easy anyway, so I have to have like 3 or 4 rags with me, because I'm always sweating. But yeah, but it don't stop the people from being out here, and they're always out here. There's always people, always something happening around here. Very, very active place. And I wish I could get people down. I wish I could get some of my peeps down here. I don't care, family, friends, classmates, whoever. I don't care. I wish I could get somebody down here to experience this. I can tell them it's all right down here. It's all right. You will like it down here. You will like it. You're visiting or want to chill here. You will like it. And so hopefully, in the future, I hope I can get some people down here. gets people down to experience. So we could, cut it up, chop it up, go somewhere down here, go Six Flags, go to damn SeaWorld, go downtown, Riverwalk, go to the zoo, a few places you can go. Go shopping, a few places go shopping, go up in the hills. It's a lot of things to do up here. So yeah, this maybe one day. I hope I can. I hope I can share that with y'all. Just a couple, couple people in my life also. Keep on wishing. Yes, it may come true. For real. Like I said, I hope everybody is doing okay. For real. I hope everybody is trying to make the best out of what's going on out here in this up there, especially in this country, man. Everything that's going on and what's going on in the news and what's going on with this government and stuff, man. So, whatever you do to find your, find your way of hope or find your happiness in this world, man, hold on to it, man. Hold on to it because it's valuable because there's so much despair out here, man. There's nothing to look hopeful for around here, you know. Even when there is something positive, they try to tear it down. Look at former president had his presidential center, opening and stuff, and look how beautiful that was. And you still got people that cannot get out of they're in that gang mentality, man, trying to appease one person so much, man. They can't even give someone credit due, where credit's due. So, I understand, it's hard to look hopeful and stuff, man. But whatever you do to find your happiness in this world, man, hold on to it. Hold on to it. Because I damn sure am. You can believe that. As my man T say, believe it. All right, thank y'all for chilling here with me this evening. I hope y'all have a lovely evening. I hope everything, if you go to work tonight, I hope you have safe travels to work. I hope your shift go okay. I hope people that come home, I hope you get your rest and go home to a happy home. And I hope whatever you do to unwind and relax, I hope you're okay. Just keep it safe out there. I love everybody out there. I don't hate nobody. Love everybody. Respect everybody. You know, love everybody. Respect everybody. Be critical of people and stuff like that. But I don't hate people. I don't just be critical. Let me few that get on my nerves. There's few that I have a certain opinion about, but on the most part, love everyone, man. Try to, see the positive and stuff, man. The most part I can. So that being said, like I said, thank y'all for being here with me this evening. Be here with, I'm trying to do this again tomorrow. Like I said, hit that subscribe, hit that like button, hit the turn on notification, let you know when I get down. Like I said, I always go post on, right now on Facebook whenever I'm about to go live. As the time goes on, we're going to, stay in growth. We're going to expand how we do this. So, like I said, I love y'all. As I always say, kiss your kids, kiss your loved ones, tell them how you feel. Tell them, don't, if you feeling a certain way, good and bad, let them know, man. Just because you never know, like, you might not get a chance. I love y'all. Y'all have a very good evening. Buenas noches. See y'all later.